The original melanated people of this planet, who were once the perfect picture of health, are now leading in nearly every preventable disease globally. Our indigenous foods and cultural practices are 5% disease-free. Over time, as we adopted a foreign dietary lifestyle, our physical and mental health severely declined. I gathered over 15 years of experience as a registered practitioner to address this complex challenge in my new book, High Vibration Nutrition. This is a simple guide to healing through our culture and flourishing. Get the High Vibration Nutrition by Bonaset Kindsetnet at Amazon. Also, get limited edition autographed copies of the book at KemeticWellness.com. Peace, Chem family. It's me, Bonaset, your African holistic health nurse for Kemetic Wellness, and I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the only real cure on the internet for Confluent and Reticulated Papillomatosis. It is a skin condition, abbreviated CARP. I made my first video about this topic 5 years ago. And back then when I made the video, I didn't see any videos on the internet talking about how to actually cure or heal this condition. Now, since then, I've seen some videos of people talking about CARP, but virtually all of the videos are either doctors who are explaining the disease process or people who have the condition, but they're talking about some kind of treatments that they're on, some type of pharmaceutical, or they're just sharing their journey of what they're going through, trying to solve this problem. But I have not seen one video, not one other video on the entire internet of anybody else who has had this problem and actually solved their problem. Not one. So I'm going to claim that as the only person on the internet who's actually solved this problem. Okay? When I say solve the problem, I mean it's been over 12 years since I had this condition and it has never come back. Okay? When I say healed, I mean I have not taken any medication, any pharmaceuticals for over 12 years and it has never come back. Okay, so that's what I mean. I have not seen one other video of anybody else on the internet who can say that. Period. So when it comes to this condition, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not up here playing trial and error. I'm not guessing. I'm not showing you my journey of failure. I'm not talking about the disease process with no actual solution. Solution meaning the problem is solved. I've done all of that. Okay. So for those of you who haven't seen my first video, I talk about the journey and all of those things, all the trial and error, the failures. I talk about that in the first video. I'll link it up here. I first had CARP at age 11. And I did everything under the sun to solve this problem. I took every medication. I went through all the misdiagnoses, thinking I had tinea versicolor. I took all the lotions and potions, everything you can think of up until 12 years ago when I finally healed myself. Okay. And I was only able to heal myself when I made the decision that I wanted to get rid of this condition permanently. Okay? Permanently. I was tired of taking medication. I was tired of taking pills, slapping creams on, these corrosive creams. Okay? And then as soon as you stop taking the medication, the skin condition comes back. I was tired of it. and I made the decision that I was going to heal. Okay? I wanted clear, healthy, beautiful skin, and I got it. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Okay? By the way, if you are watching this video and you have some other type of chronic skin condition, one that is incurable, like HARP, this video will help you too. The information that I share in this video will help you too. But I'm going to speak specifically on CARP because that's a condition that I had. So, if you don't want to learn how to actually heal your skin, just click off this video. Okay? Go back to fooling yourself into thinking that you solved your problem, even though you're still taking medication to cover up the symptoms. And every time you stop taking the medication, here it goes again, popping up all over your skin because you haven't actually solved your problem. Okay? But if you want to have clear, healthy skin, I'm going to teach you how I healed my skin and how you can do it too. Okay, so in this video specifically, because I'm going to do more videos on this particular topic, I'm going to focus on nutrition, and I'm going to focus on what I was doing wrong and what you may also be doing wrong. Okay. The reason I'm going to focus on nutrition is because nutrition makes up 80% of your overall health. This is a fact. 80% of all disease begins in the gut. So if you want to heal your skin, start with your diet. Start with your diet. Okay. The number one mistake that you're making in your healing journey with this particular condition is thinking that skin is a topical problem. You think it's just a surface issue, it's just a topical problem. It's not. Okay. You have been miseducated into thinking that you can solve your skin problem by just slapping some cream on top of it or taking a pill. Clearly, that doesn't work. If it did work, your skin would not continue breaking out after you finish the course of the medication. Okay? That means that you were just covering it up. You didn't actually solve the problem. Okay. So that idea of just covering up symptoms without solving a problem, that is a Western perspective. Okay. Western medicine only focuses on addressing symptoms. The goal is to never give you a cure for anything. This is why they tell you there's no cure for anything. The goal is to never give you a cure, to keep you sick, so that you continue to need their medications and their treatments, so that they can continue to extract money from you for your medication, for your doctor's visits, for your treatments, and whatever else, okay? This is completely opposite of African medicine. African natural medicine focuses on healing the cause of the disease. Okay, so as an African holistic health practitioner, that's my perspective. Okay? African medicine focuses on the healing the cause of the disease, the cause. So from an African-centered perspective, when you heal a person, you look at the cause of the disease, you treat the person with natural food, water, herbs, and spiritual realignment, and the person heals themselves, which I think is very practical and common sense. So everything in this video is going to be from an African-centered perspective because your healing is in your culture. You have to get to the root of why your skin is breaking out in the first place. The main reason is that your diet is trash. Yeah, your diet is trash. I know you don't think so. I know you think that you eat just fine. You eat a normal diet just like everyone else, right? You may even have a good diet, right? That's the problem, okay? Most Americans are miseducated about nutrition, and the standard American diet is not a natural diet. It's not a natural diet, meaning it is not even compatible with a healthy body. Okay, this is why the average American has at least 5 health conditions. That means everybody is sick. Everybody is sick. Okay, that should tell you something. This is not natural. It's normal in American society. It has become the norm, but it is not a natural thing. A healthy body is natural. This is why we come into the world healthy. Most babies come into the world healthy. To be born and be unhealthy is an abnormality. Okay, that means health is the norm. But when you live in a society, when we live in a society where everybody is fat, sick, and depressed, you start to think that it's normal because you look like everybody else. So in order to have different results, you have to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. Okay, and I'm going to tell you what that is. The standard American diet is completely made up of low vibration foods. Low vibration foods. And I'm being generous by calling them food because most of the time it's not even food. Okay, what are low vibration foods? Low vibration foods are poor quality foods, processed foods, artificial, GMO, food-like products that have little to no nutritional value at all. And because your body needs nutrients for every single metabolic process, including the functions of your skin, when you eat non-nutritive food over time, meal after meal after meal after meal, you create physical imbalances in the body, okay? You create an acidic, diseased internal environment. And when the body's internal environment is stressed and out of balance, it can show up in any organ system, including the skin. Because this is your body's way of getting your attention and letting you know that something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. Okay. Your skin is an organ. It's the body's largest organ because it covers the entire surface of the body. Now, you may think that you eat just fine, but your body is going to tell you the truth about the status of your health every time. Okay? So when you start to develop chronic skin disease, that's your body's way of telling you that something is wrong because your body is purging itself. Your body is purging itself. The skin and the liver are also companion organs. So one of the major functions of the liver is waste removal. When the body cannot remove waste through those organs that function to help us remove waste, it will come out on the skin. Okay. Low vibration foods are toxic to the body. So when the body is overloaded with toxins and they're not being completely eliminated by the liver, the kidney, the colons, it will be excreted through the skin. Yeah. So your body is purging itself. That's why your skin is breaking out. And it's purging itself of a lot of these artificial foods. So this is how I healed my skin. I eliminated these 5 low vibration foods that I'm going to talk about today. The first one is artificial foods. artificial foods. In order to eliminate artificial foods, you have to actually read labels. You have to read the labels on the food you're picking up. This is the number one mistake that people are making when they buy food. They do not properly read the labels. And if they do read the label, they only look at the front of the label. Okay? Most people do not realize that the front of the label on the food packages that you're picking up is simply the advertising. It's just the advertising. So the front of the label, this is where you're going to see what the product is. It's going to have the brand name. It's going to tell you probably some little advertising claims, like all natural, fat-free, okay, low carb, alkaline, that's the new one, okay, because they want you to think this is a good product. All of that is advertising. So people see those buzzwords that they've heard around health and wellness. They don't even know what it means, but you know, oh, this sounds good. So they just look, it says alkaline on it, it says low carb on it, and they pick it up. You're not going to know what's actually in the product until you turn the product around to the back and read the ingredients on the label. You have to read the ingredients to know what's actually in the product. Okay. Now, when you read the ingredients on a food label and you see things that are unrecognizable and unnatural, put it back. Put it back. Okay. The same way that you do not recognize when you read FD&C40. What is that? That's the same way your body don't recognize it. Okay? The same way when you read these monosodium glutamate, your body also doesn't recognize it. Your body doesn't know what that is. It's not natural. So put it back. Because it is not natural and your body doesn't recognize it, your body has no use for it. It recognizes it as a foreign object. It's not supposed to be there. Okay, so your body is going to try to eliminate it. Now that one ingredient that I just said, FD&C40, that's just one ingredient, one chemical. Some of you are eating 10 to 20 of these chemicals in one food item. One food item. So all those chemicals that you just ate in that one food item, out of all of the food that you ate in one day, imagine how many of these chemicals you consume every single day and you don't even know it. And imagine the effect that that's having on your body. Do you see that you're poisoning yourself at every single meal? And that your body is literally fighting for its life? Yeah. Your body is fighting for its life. And I know that you think that I'm being dramatic when I say poison, when I use the term poison. I'm not being dramatic and I'm not joking. I'm not being dramatic and I'm not joking. Okay. Most of the additives in the United States are banned in over 50 countries worldwide because it's poison. It's poison. Okay. Some of the same foods that you get in the United States, if you buy that same product from that same company in a different country, it has totally different ingredients. Did you know that? Okay. If you want to heal your skin, eliminate artificial foods. That's number one. Number two, second thing I eliminated was GMOs. GMOs. Some of you know what this is. Some of you have never heard this term before. So GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. Now, all that means is that the food was genetically altered at the DNA level in a lab to produce a desired quality. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about with a GMO. Corn is one of the top 5 GMO crops in the United States. Okay. It's one of the top 5 because they use corn in everything. So this is where you get that high fructose corn syrup. They use the corn because it's sweet. And the United States make everything sweet. There's sugar in everything. All the packaged products, they put extra sugar in everything. And they use that high fructose corn syrup to make things sweet. And it's made from genetically modified corn. So what is genetically modified corn? Well, this lovely company, Monsanto, has created genetically engineered corn through a process called gene splicing. Gene splicing. So they take the DNA of the corn and they combine it with the DNA of an insecticide. Yeah. So that when insects bite into the corn, they die. Now, this was to preserve as much of the corn crops as possible for money. Okay, they didn't want to lose any crops. So they genetically altered the corn so that it would contain insecticide. I know this sounds like a crazy science experiment, but this is real. You can look it up. This is real. So this is great for all the farmers. You get to save as much money as possible. But what about the people who are eating it? What about you who's eating it? What effect do you think that's having on your body, that you're eating corn that's genetically engineered with insecticide in it? Okay, you want to know what effect it's having on your body? Look at your skin. Look at your skin. So how do you know if you're eating genetically engineered foods? Well, if you live in the United States, you probably are, especially if you don't know how to recognize them. Over 80% of all packaged foods in the United States are genetically engineered or contain genetically engineered products. Okay. So again, the only way to know what you're eating is to look at the labels and read the ingredients on the back. The problem with that is that the United States companies legally do not have to let you know that there are genetically engineered ingredients in your food. Okay, let me restate that. Legally, in the United States, food companies do not have to tell you that their food products contain genetically engineered ingredients. Yeah. So if you don't know what ingredients are GMOs, if you don't know what they are, you're not going to know what to look for. Now, the list of GMOs is far too long for me to just list it out in this video, and it will be probably very boring for me to just read them out to you. So I have them all in my book, High Vibration Nutrition. I outline them. You can get it there. The book is available at KemeticWellness.com. And you can get the ebook exclusively at KemeticWellness.com. It's not available anywhere else. Okay. What I can tell you is that when you're purchasing anything that's packaged, you want to look for 2 labels that's going to help you identify whether or not the product has GMOs in it if you don't know what to look for. The two labels are the USDA organic label, okay, and the other label is the non-GMO verified label. That's the safest way to go if you do not know what GMOs are, which products are GMO, which ingredients are GMO, okay, if you don't know how to recognize it. Look for those two labels, one of the two, on your packaged goods if you want to be safe, okay? The other thing is, the best way to avoid GMOs is to stop buying so many packaged foods in the first place. Eat more whole foods. The majority of your diet needs to be whole foods if you want to actually heal your skin. So when you eat whole foods, you're going to know what the food is when you look at it. When you look at an apple, you know it's an apple. Okay, you don't have to read an ingredients list. When you look at a potato, you know it's a potato. When you look at spinach, you know it's spinach. So that's one of the best ways to avoid GMOs is to eat whole foods, stuff that doesn't come in a package and doesn't need a package. Okay. There's a caveat to that, though. There's one caveat to that. Because there is genetically engineered produce. Unfortunately, that's the country that we live in. There is genetically engineered produce. So I'm going to tell you how you identify genetically engineered produce. You have to look at that little sticker that comes on the produce that has a PLU number on it. It's a 4 to 5 digit number. Okay. The number is either going to be a 4-digit number that starts with a 4 or a 3. It's going to be a 5-digit number that starts with a 9. Or it's going to be a 5-digit number that starts with an 8. Okay. These represent the 3 types of produce. One is conventionally grown, which means that it was grown with pesticides and all those other things, okay? The other is organic, which means that it was not grown with pesticides and it's not GMO. And the third one is genetically engineered, okay? So the 4-digit number, the 4-digit PLU number that begins with a 4 or 3, that's conventionally grown. That means it probably has pesticides. You can wash the pesticides off. You can still eat it. It's conventionally grown. Most of the time, it's grown in mass numbers, things like that. Okay. The organic PLU number is going to be a 5-digit number, and it's going to start with a 9. 5-digit number starting with a 9. That's organic. That means it's not GMO. It wasn't grown with pesticides. It was grown as naturally as possible. Okay. The 5-digit number, the 5-digit PLU number that begins with an 8, that is a genetically modified organism. It's a GMO product. So look at the PLU numbers on your produce as well. Okay. The third thing that I avoided, the third food that I avoided to help heal my skin was animal products. That's the third thing. When I say animal products, I'm talking about animal flesh and animal discharge. What is animal flesh? Goat, pig, chicken, oxtail, chicken foot, fish, shrimp, lobster, mussels, crabs, etc., etc. If it swims, walks, crawls, flies, I don't eat it. See, that's what I mean when I say animal flesh. Okay. Animal discharge. What is animal discharge? These are milk products. Milk products. Goat's milk, cow's milk, even powdered milk, cheese, yogurt, etc., etc. Animal flesh and animal discharge. Okay? I have to explain it all like that, spell it all the way out, because I know that some really smart person is going to ask me in the comments, well, can I eat fish? After I said no animal products. Okay. Can I eat fish? I stopped eating all animal products. That's what helped me to heal my skin. You can eat whatever you want to eat. If it helps you solve your problem, you can eat whatever you want to eat. Okay? And let me say this. When someone gives you a formula for success, follow it completely and follow it exactly. Because the person who's giving you the formula for success already went through the trial and error. They already failed hundreds of times before they reached the point of success. They know what works and what doesn't work because they got there to success. It's only after you achieve the success in that area that you can tweak certain things because you already know what works and doesn't work. But until you get to that point and you sustained it for years, you cannot tweak stuff because you don't know why that's important to the journey. You don't know what's important to the success. You don't know. Okay. That's like if you're in a foreign country and you're lost. You have no idea where you are. You don't know the language. You don't know the streets. You don't know anything about this place. You are lost and you're trying to get to a specific location. Somebody, a local who's been around these streets, gives you very specific directions on how to get where you need to go. And you decide, well, you know what, let me take this back road. This looked like an interesting way. Let me take this alternate route. You know what you're about to be? You're going to be lost. That's what you're about to be, lost. Because you don't know how to follow direction. Why would you go and take back roads and you don't know where you are? Not only are you going to be lost, you might even be in danger because you don't know where you are. You don't know the country. You don't know the language. You don't know where you're going. It's only after you've reached the destination successfully, maybe you've been there a few times, now you can take some scenic routes, some back roads, some alternate routes, and still make it to your destination safely. See what I'm saying here? You see? Yeah. When somebody gives you a formula for success, follow it completely. Don't ask me about nothing I didn't say in here. Can I eat fish? Can I eat goat? If I didn't tell you that that's what I ate, the answer is no. So follow the formula exactly. Follow directions exactly. If you want to heal your skin, eliminate animal products. Now, once you achieve success, you can see what you want to add back in, what you want to tweak, because then you'll know. If things start to come back, you'll know exactly what did it. You'll know. Okay. The fourth thing that I eliminated to heal my skin was coffee. This might be the point where you click off the video if it wasn't the last one. Yeah, coffee. Now, I was never much of a coffee drinker until I worked night shift years ago. But the reason that I eliminated coffee is because it's one of those substances that function as both a food and a drug. So I was using it to give me energy to stay awake when I was tired, but coffee does not give you real energy. It doesn't give you real energy. What coffee does is it blocks the sleep receptors in the brain so that you stay awake. But once it wears off, you have a crash. And the reason that you have a crash is because there is no real substitute for actual sleep and rest. There's no substitute. Coffee doesn't give you energy. It's just tricking the brain into staying awake. The only way to get actual energy, real energy, is from quality rest and sleep and from highly nutritious food. That's it. It is the minerals, the vitamins, the phytonutrients, and natural plant foods that give your body energy and also heal the skin. One of the things that eliminating coffee did for me is it also forced me to eat better. Okay. Because when I eliminated the coffee, I needed real nutrients to give me energy. So I had to eat better to get that clean energy that I needed. So not relying on these high levels of caffeine to help me get through the day forced me to go to bed to a reasonable time, at a reasonable time, and eat better. So I started going to bed at a reasonable time, which helped me to improve my mood, have more energy, but it also helped my skin to benefit. So your body uses the time that you sleep in order to heal the entire body, including the skin. Okay? It's a time of repair for the body, that rest period. Okay. So I didn't particularly stop drinking coffee because of my skin. It was for overall detoxification and health. Okay. But I noticed that my skin improved. My skin improved. And I'm 100% sure that eliminating coffee contributed to the health of my skin and me actually healing this condition. The reason that I'm sure of this is because the only time that I have had coffee since I eliminated it years ago is during road trips. So when I'm taking these long road trips that are like 12 hours long and I'm driving, my number one concern is safety. I don't want to fall asleep at the wheel. So if I start to get tired, to me, I'm like, it's better to drink coffee than to fall asleep at the wheel and end up in an accident or worse. So most of the time, if I'm on a road trip and I get very, very tired, I will drink coffee. But I try to avoid it. I try to have other things or make sure that I'm very well rested. What I've noticed when I do that is when I have the coffee, I will start to itch uncontrollably. Like my skin gets very sensitive. It's something about it, like it wakes up the receptors in the skin. It makes me feel very itchy. And there are times that I've even broken out in hives. So I know that my body doesn't like it and it has a negative effect on my skin. That's my experience. Okay. So if you want to heal your skin, eliminate coffee. The fifth thing that I eliminated is alcohol. Okay. Alcohol is another one of those substances like coffee that functions as both a food and a drug. Now, I didn't grow up seeing anyone in my family drink very often. Okay. I didn't grow up with alcohol in my home. My mother was more of a social drinker every now and then for like holidays or something like that. And I never saw her drunk. My father was Muslim. He didn't drink at all. So alcohol was never big or important to me. And I wasn't accustomed to it in any way. I only started to drink alcohol when I was in college. And I would mainly drink alcohol. I was never a heavy drinker, but I would drink if I was like emotionally dysregulated and I just wanted to like sleep or something like that. If I was studying too much, anxious, my mind is racing, and I wanted to go to sleep, I wanted to rest. That's what it did, just kind of knocked me out. Um, and I didn't like that pattern. You know, I didn't like having to use it for anything. So again, I didn't really stop drinking coffee because of my skin specifically. It was really for overall health and to just get my body in a better, healthier state. So I could heal overall. Okay. But it does make sense. It makes sense. So remember, again, the liver and the skin are companion organs. The liver and the skin are companion organs. Every time you have a drink of alcohol, it's like punching your liver in the gut. Okay? Alcohol is extremely hepatotoxic. It puts your liver under a lot of stress, even just a small amount of alcohol. And when the liver is stressed, it will show up on the skin. It will show up on the skin. This is why alcoholics, their skin often looks very aged. It looks red and inflamed, leathery, blotchy. Okay, so there is a correlation between alcohol use and the look of your skin. And this is because of the damage that it causes to the liver. So if you want to heal your skin, eliminate alcohol. These are the 5 low vibration foods that I eliminated when I did my first 21-day vegan detox over, I think it was 14 years ago, 12 to 14 years ago. Okay. I eliminated artificial foods, GMOs, animal products, coffee, and alcohol. This is how I completely healed myself of carb. 12 years, carb free, medication free, prescription free. Okay. I upgraded my nutrition and I healed my skin. That's how I did it. Okay. Now, a lot of you all are going to ask me, so when I eliminate all of these foods, what do I eat? Well, I'm glad you asked. So what I did was I replaced the standard American diet with a cultural African-centered diet. Okay, cultural nutrition. This is what we do in the Alchemy of Black Healing. It is a private community focused on African holistic health with healers just like you who have access to my entire wellness library, including challenges like the 21-day vegan detox. So if you're tired of being a perpetual victim of bad skin because of your own diet choices, get to work. Click the link in the description of this video to join us, and I will see you on our next coaching call on Monday. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.